brand new racetrack we just mentioned as we kind of get back in the racing mode. You could see it nice and juiced up, we like to call it. So it'll be interesting to watch how it changes. And I think, I don't know, maybe I was surprised a little bit yesterday, Clinton, with practice and how quickly things change. And then obviously in those heat races, do you kind of expect that it'll change probably as rapidly as we saw yesterday?
I don't think it will. I think they saw how fast it did change yesterday, maybe caught those guys a little bit off guard, and so today, or it would be last night, I'm sure throughout the middle of the night, they went to work on this racetrack and really got some moisture down into it. Don't want it to last a little bit longer today. We got a lot of races today, obviously, and we don't want to be stopping to rework the racetrack every 10, 15 races. So I think today we're going to start off with a lot more moisture in the racetrack. It's going to last a lot longer. And we'll make it, 15, 20 race run here before we ever see a water truck or a tiller or anything like that.
We'll keep our eyes out, see how long it takes for them to come out and actually start working on this surface. Again, brand fresh and new. Our broadcast here on FloRacing is brought to you this year by Hyper Racing, and a huge thank you to the folks at Hyper as this field already forming up, and we should be getting to green flag action here mas rapido on our first morning edition of the 38th annual Tulsa Shootout.
You guys got anyone tuning in early this morning with you?
Yeah, I saw Scotty Hampton was awake. Nick Drake is awake. Who else you got?
I don't know if he's actually awake yet, but we had a guy last night watching from China.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, native.
Shootout's gone global. I mean, it already has.
Washington was watching from China. He's on a 2-year teaching expedition over there, so kind of cool. Shout out to Mr. Schick, who was watching from way, way afar.
Huh.
Well, field's getting lined up. Let's get you your lineup for this first heat race. It is heat race number 25 on the entirety of the grid as the yellow lights still flashing up and around, but ain't going to take too long before they go. It is Carl Lebo on the pole. He is from Deltona, Florida, in car number 58. Outside of him, it is Tanner Holm in the 48T out of Washington. Row number 2, it's Josh Castro in the 23, and Eric Jennings in the 14. Behind them, third row, Holden Jennings, the 66, and Dylan Ramey in the 7. Row 4, Josh Marcham in the 8X, and Elijah Guile in the 13. Fifth and final row, Sean Jones in the 80, and Ryan Cotney out of Tulsa, Oklahoma in the U2. Your 10 cars going 8 laps here in our first heat race of the day.
Remember, Josh Castro rolls off P3, won a heat race yesterday, says, I'm just here to be interviewed and win heat races. So he's in a good position to maybe go 2 for 2 in the Outlaw class here, rolling off from that third spot on what should be a pretty lockdown racetrack, as we'll let the first heat race do some hot lapping to get this track rolled in. As you look at the bell helmets, speed shot from turns 3 and 4. That'll be a good look as you watch the racetrack change over the course of the day.
Good time to remind everybody that we're working on a passing points format here. It is 100 points to win the heat race off the pole, and then plus 5 points for every position back that you come from to win the heat race. Average point score to make the qualifier in years past has been about 74.5 points. Big thank you to Brian Walker and Walkipedia, who is a fantastic Twitter follow here for the week. You can find that at Walkipedia, followed by an underscore, and he with real-time update stats, etc. If you guys want to follow along at home and just see stuff that is impossible to have known in advance. Brian knows it. I mean, you're staying with B-Walks. The dude's a machine.
Yeah, he was up late last night. I'm going to guess around 3:34 in the morning, just typing in all stuff, notes for today. Got all his lineups in so he can put those out as soon as it's happening. And we were back up at 7:30 this morning. So Walkipedia is a beast. He loves this more than anyone I know. I'm just absolutely infatuated with the shootout and Chili Bowl, and he lives for this. You know, he could be off having a little vacation somewhere. He worked all year with the World of Outlaws doing their PR and social media, but he's here grinding it out with us, and thankful to have someone like him and the dedication he has to this sport. It's pretty darn cool. And if you follow him along on Twitter, he tweets about a lot of the behind-the-scenes stuff going on in the pit area before sometimes we even see it or get it out. I'm pretty sure he was tweeting about the altercation last night before any of us even realized it had happened. So it's pretty cool to get to see what B-Walks does here for us.
All right, so we are ready to go. First heat race of the day, stacked up, racked up, ready to go for 8 times around. Green flag on day number 2 of the Tulsa Shootout.
Green lights aren't coming on that one. We saw some games there. Tanner Holm didn't really want to take off. Yesterday we saw that, and the whole front row got penalized. Yeah. We'll see what we have here. I don't feel like Carl Lebo jumped the start necessarily.
Oh, and they're going to put Lebo back, so
Well,
first infraction of the day. We saw several yesterday. Some drivers like Kaylee Bryson and I think one of the Howards got a gift there from a couple of these instances. So
now it's Castro's turn. See if he
right.
can go 2 for 2, an outlaw wing and an outlaw.
He wants an
non-wing
interview.
heat race
He wants a morning interview. So we'll see if he can get one here as Castro will lead him back to the green flag. We'll try it a second time here, opening heat race for the outlaw non-wing.
That's a good start for Castro. He will lead the pack into turn number 1, but we have got our first caution due to race incident of the day.
Holden Jennings there in that yellow 66J, and I believe that's the 8X of Josh Marcham. So we talked Josh, Brian Ward did just before rolling onto the racetrack. Had some confidence. Now he's going to have a little bit of work to do, although he'll have still 8 laps to get it done.
Wrong place, wrong time, and Jennings going to need a new front bumper on that thing as that's mangled.
It's almost a spear.
Guys, is this a good time to go and throw out there that yesterday we had 0 flips?
That's right.
Ooh.
No flips yesterday.
Although, is there any
We'll
wood?
see.
Well, we're in a wooden box here, so let me go ahead and knock on that.
The official K1 race gear flip count
Yeah.
is a big old goose egg right now.
I sat down this morning and looked at that note, and I was like trying to think there had to be some sort of flip yesterday, but there sure wasn't. So we'll see what's the over-under on how many races we think it'll take today. I would guess maybe
2.
4.5.
Yeah.
It has 3.5, 4.5, somewhere in there.
You said it at 3.5, and you're going to have a healthy amount of people betting the under on that.
Yeah.
I'll go ahead and take the under.
Well, let's look at it this way. What did we get? 2.5 hours of racing in last night? And nobody on their lid?
Yeah.
How much time are we going to get before somebody flips? Maybe not just sheer races, but how many actual minutes before we have somebody on their list?
I think you look at the situation too, what the track was last night, kind of a little more slick for those outlaw wing guys, and obviously you get the non-wings on a juiced-up racetrack, and then some tempers, some antsy drivers out there. I don't know. We'll see. I'll say definitely in the first few races for sure. Hope not, though. You never want to hope for that.
Third tries the charm. Castro inside, Holm outside, and we're green. Holm gets a better takeoff this time into 1 and 2. Castro comes up to take the line away. Holm to the inside. They run 1-2 here at the completion of lap number 1. Castro and then Holm. They battle for the lead. Car up in the air, challenging the flip count. But he doesn't get upside down. He'll bring her back together. We stay clean and green.
Yeah, Carl Lebo escaped with one there. As you take a look back at second of Holm, settling in now behind Castro. And now Holm with a little bit of a stumble off at turn 2 is going to lose a ton of time.
Something burped in the 48 car, and it did it again right there mid-corner. Meanwhile, bid for third, down to the bottom, should be Sean Jones in the 80X, who's moving into third now. As he dispatches of Jennings. Jennings trying to come back after him on the bottom of the racetrack. Those two, tooth and nail, for the third position here in our first heat race.
And you can see the clay already building on the front end of Jennings' car. That's just how much moisture is in this racetrack. So got to make sure you got a stack of tear-offs on here early on as we look at Holm once again riding in that second spot. But again, the focus here is that battle for third and problems for Holm. So something is misfiring when he gets back on the throttle in that 48.
It's right center corner that car has a stumble, and I don't know how much he's actually lifting or burping that throttle at all through the middle of the turn, but it's cost him a number of positions. As the white flag is in the air, we've got one more time around.
Castro's going to come around easily as we look at the battle here for second. Jennings has it. Jones wants it, but it's going to go to Jennings as Josh Castro takes home our first outlaw non-wing heat race of the day. 2 for 2 in the outlaw division here at the Tulsa Shootout.
He needs to print a t-shirt already. I'm here to win heat races and get interviews.
And, yeah, that's right.
I'd buy one. 110 points for him.
I just got a text from the from Jacob Brown, the K1 kind of head honcho representative.
Jacob.
He said K1 is going to give away a free suit to anyone that can guess the flip count by the end of the week, and they're going to put out their own promotion on it and do all that.
Cool. Wow.
But, yeah, pretty crazy.
Thank you, K1. Am I eligible for that?
He didn't say how many submissions I can throw down, so I'm going to throw in a couple from all my fake Twitter accounts that I got. So
hold on, let me create a burner account real quick. Heat race number 2 entering the racetrack, and the lineup looks like this. 17-8 of Austin Barnhill out of Wilmington, North Carolina, your pole sitter. Bash Ferguson out of Willis, Texas, sharing the front row. Justin Robinson will roll off from the 3rd spot out of Rockwall, Texas. Maverick Myrick from Tulare, California in the 54X starting 4th. Starting 5th, Al Quiggle out of Mill Hall, Pennsylvania. Zach Haynes out of Albuquerque, New Mexico. Inside row number 4, that's Talon McConnell out of Midwest City, Oklahoma, and Ryan France out of Lovington, Illinois. Your final roll, rolling off 9th, Kyle Chatty out of Benton, Illinois, and Jack Lobin out of Centerville, Minnesota. 8 laps the distance so far. A winner from the 3rd starting spot. We'll see what happens, although Josh ended up taking the pole after a front row infraction. Caution lights are already off. Austin Barnhill, Bash Ferguson, your front row. As off of 4, we're underway. Bad start there for Bash Ferguson, falls back a few positions, and the caution light will come out for the 17T of Talon McConnell.
The first of what's going to end up being many bangs of the steering wheel during the course of the day. However, McConnell, it's only going to cost him a couple of positions in the running order, and he's still got a full 8 laps to try to make a difference.
Kind of stacked up there is the battle for real estate on the bottom. I mentioned Bash Ferguson dropped at least 3 positions on the top, and everybody kind of stacked up, and Talon had nowhere to go. So we'll double them back up, try it all over again.
We mentioned that these are for points, therefore finish points essentially based on where you start and where you end up coming in and through. We should also mention that your initial starting position, the part that you are scored on your points, is where you are lined up on the parade lap coming to the green flag. So McConnell, who now goes back into the 9th place starting position, the initial green he was coming to it at 7th, he will be scored from 7th on the chart for his final point score.
A lot of front bumpers getting used up coming down the backstretch here. Both heat races so far.
You don't think everybody's antsy to get going here?
No, not at all.
It's like watching a quarter midget race.
Yeah.
All right, Austin Barnhill, Bash Ferguson this time off the corner. We'll try it one more time. Ferguson this time gets down from the 2nd starting spot. Oh, and there it is. Race number 2, the first of our K1 flip count.
I told you I would have bet the under. 9:30.
A gentle rollover, but nevertheless.
9:32 Central Time. So
okay,
3 hours of racing in and our first flip.
And I just mentioned Bash got to the bottom, but hooked the berm, and a little bit of contact from the rear sent him with a Tommy tip over.
We've got an update. Let's go up top for a Pit Stop USA interview and Connor Wade.
Josh Castro is off to a really good start here at the Tulsa Shootout. And Josh, picking up another heat race win. How'd the 23C feel? Was it running up to par?
Yeah, I got the best chassis manufacturer with Driven. I got to thank Carrier Racing Engines. Starting early like that, it's just a dyno session. But mostly I want to say hello to my daughters back home, Braden and Hudson. And I got to thank my crew. Eric's been busting his butt all week. Elijah, Nick, and my sponsors, Turf Sellers, Judy back home watching. Thank you guys for everything you guys do for me.
Josh Castro, the winner of the first Nominee Outlaw heat race of the day.
2 for 2 on interviews as well.
Not bad.
So Austin Barnhill will try it for a 3rd time. This time on the outside, it's going to be the 54X of Maverick Myrick. As we're underway, and Myrick just goes ahead and slides Barnhill for the lead and pulls away from Austin Barnhill. Barnhill now under attack from the 9M.
Maverick started 4th in the initial drop of the green, saw opportunity to take this lead and go away from it. And yeah, racetrack with a lot of moisture in it, getting out and in front and setting the pace. A huge advantage for him as he has stretched this lead already to a half straightaway.
Yeah, wasted no time getting to the front as you look at your leader on the right, on the left. A slide job here, possibly for Alec Quiggle, and he'll get by Austin Barnhill. So move the 17A back a spot, and Quiggle up to P2.
Quiggle with that beautiful reflective gold numbers just moving through this field. Quiggle started 5th, now up into the 2nd position. A good point scoring run for him as well. A couple of drivers making their marks early as laps are going to tick by awfully quick.
There's a look at Justin Robinson, Rockwall, Texas native, trying to get back underneath Austin Barnhill. That's the battle for 3rd on your screen, the best one we've got so far, as 2 laps to go for Myrick here in heat race number 2.
time running out. White flag in the air for your race leader, Maverick Myrick. Field is stretched out to single file over most of the racetrack. We got one up into the wall, but he managed to gather it back together. And the checker flag will hit the air. Maverick Myrick from 4th takes the heat race win. It's heat race number 26 and our second for the Outlaw non-wing. Quiggle 2, Barnhill 3. 115-pointer there for Myrick as he is your new high point scorer in the division. Up the ramp champ as we'll get a look at the Evo fuel injection ramp cam, and a big thank you to all of our sponsors who help make this Tulsa Shootout possible. Jet Hayes sits on the pole for heat race number 3. Justin Bates going to be next to him. Seth Sylvester in the 16 and Tyler Davenport in the 12 make up row number 2. Keep your eyes on Joe B. Miller, the Tulsa Shootout champion in the 151, and Chase Randolph next to him in the 15. Then Stephen Curbo, the Tulsa veteran in the 20. Ryan Winter in the 4. Hunter Pruitt in 72. And Delaney Jost in 25. 10 cars again going for 8 laps. Here our third race of the morning. Joe B in the 151, his win 6 years ago in the Winged Outlaw Tulsa Shootout. Won for the records. He was the final transfer to the A main and took the win from 24th for the Golden Driller. He is in the white with blue and orange, 151 on the inside of row number 3 as we're underway in this heat race. And there is Joe B centering your screen right now. Picking his way through the bottom, he's already up to position 3. Following him on through, I believe that's Randolph's 15 car. Hard to see there it is, that 5 kind of duct taped on the front nose of it. Curbo in the white number 20, tucked in the 5th position, trying to come forward as well. Race leader, Jet Hayes, out in front of the field. One of the one-way performance cars, one of the newer manufacturers that you'll see out there.
Talked about Jet Hayes in practice, or a little bit yesterday, how good he did look in practice. Out here showing it again. Impressive run as Joby Miller is trying to look underneath Davenport for that 3rd position. That'd be big to get that spot away from him.
Joby just trying to be patient here, but the laps continue to wind down. We're rolling through this one pretty quick as trying to get up underneath Davenport. This time he's going to go top shelf as he knows he's got company behind him in Randolph. And it looks like Miller may try the top shelf here, although Davenport kind of almost through the middle opens the door. Here comes Jace Randolph trying to peek his nose underneath.
Joe B's got the car speed. He's just got to find the line and the right timing to use it to get by.
White flag already out for Hayes as the battle continues here for 3rd and 4th, bringing a couple more cars in here. Randolph under attack in one. We got one upside down. Cartwheeling.
Ryan Winter, the 4 car, is the one who just got upside down, our second flip.
There's just a gaggle of cars there battling for 3rd, 4th, 5th on back.
Both of our flips have been off the inside of turn number 2 as drivers have got those left side tires up on the berm, biked it and flipped. So yellow flag out on this. Let's go up top and talk to Connor Wade.
Maverick Myrick picks up a non-winged outlaw heat race win. Maverick started in the 4th position. How'd you get to the front so quickly?
Well, I just really had to do everything I could to get up front and try to win it, to get into the qualifier, to try to make it good in the main.
Feel like you need to make any changes for the qualifier?
Probably just a little bit, but other than that, the car was really good. And
really good passing points effort for Maverick Myrick. He'll definitely be in the top 112. Guys, back to you.
All right, Connor. One of the different things is we're going to get an Ibach Racing, Ibach Springs replay here and a look at Winter's whirligig flip off the 2nd corner.
Yeah, Jace just was on the bottom and tried to make something happen there was Ryan Winter, just unfortunately ran out of room.
That right rear tire of Winter right into the left side sail panel of Randolph, and you can literally see Randolph move within the car when the right rear got up and into the race car. So yeah, Winter took the worst of that with the flip, but Randolph jostled a little bit, and as is, we've got a new heat race on the track, so that one's over. They checkered flagged that, they called her, so your heat race winner is going to be Jet Hayes. This is heat race number 28, Patrick Lundy, Brenham Crouch on the front row. This will get you the rest of the drivers as we can during the course of a green flag out.
And big time issues for Lundy, loses the pole position there right into turn number 1. Crouch goes around, and now Lundy has more problems upside down the back straightaway. shock mount is gone as he rests on the left side of the race car, but things just went bad to worse. Didn't fire off.
Last year, Lundy was one of the drivers who ended up in the front straightaway fence. This year, decided to spend his $1,000 on the back straightaway fence. Championship winning driver out of Texas, and unfortunately inside row 1 his heat race is going to be done, as we'll check back in with Connor up top.
Yeah, Jet Hayes picks up a non-lead outlaw heat race win. Jet, it's got to be such a good feeling to come to your first Tulsa Shootout and pick up a heat race win. Did you feel like you'd have a shot to do that?
Yeah, every time I hop in the one-way performance car, it gets around the racetrack pretty good. We've had a lot of speed. We've only been running a couple races this year, and we've seemed to be pretty quick, so I felt good, and car was good as always, and hopefully we can be somewhere later.
Caleb mentioned earlier a one-way chassis, one of the newer chassis companies in MyPro Sprint Racing. Do you feel like they come into the shootout, even with one shootout under their belt, with enough information to be successful?
I think so. I mean, you can always learn every time. We're good past couple months, and, you know, I think we got some speed this week.
Jet Hayes, his first Tulsa Shootout, starts off pretty good.
Thank you, Connor. And we saw at the accident scene, you should take a look at the iBox Springs replay one more time, as Lundy just kind of squirrely off the corner gets a little help into the outside wall. Brian Ward was on the scene. Brian, if you can hear me, you got your mic open. Tell us what you can see on that race car.
Yeah, guys, just some damage on the Nerf bars, of course. The chain's off. I don't really see any major suspension damage on the front end. Carbon nose is pretty chewed up. Lundy's got his helmet off. We'll see if we can get a word in with him. He just said hello to one of those drivers as they paced through the infield. As soon as they got him back on his wheels, he tossed the steering wheel out. Tell me a little bit about what you saw coming into that out of turn number 2.
I didn't get a good start because I just didn't, to be honest. I'm stupid. The guy tried to slide job the guy who was actually in first. Didn't clear him. I had to check up, so I didn't tag him. And then somebody behind me just decided to run me over and put me into the wall for absolutely no reason. We haven't even made a lap yet. And probably destroyed my car that I had just got. So I don't even know if my week is going to be over or not. I'm running all 4 classes with the same car, so we'll see what happens, see how bad the car is when we get it back.
All right, we're going to let you get up there and get some work done to it. We hope to see you back on the racetrack.
Thank you.
I met Patrick up in the trade show area yesterday. Super good dude. Had really good attitude. It was fun to talk to him. I hope the damage isn't as bad as he thinks. Probably toasted the right rear wheel, I would think, in that collision, though. So that alone gets a little expensive.
Yeah, and I saw the left rear arm and shock came blowing off that thing. So he'll probably be making a trip over to the CSI trailer over there. Those guys can kind of work on a little bit of anything. I know they're probably mostly the only shock company here in the building that can fix stuff right away. So cool to have CSI here on site, able to tune some of these guys up and get them back out on the racetrack.
Garrett and his crew doing some hard work. Okay, real quickly, we should have Daniel Smith at the 28 now on the pole. Next to him, is it still Crouch in the 87? Yes, it is. The 8 car is Jake Branham. On the outside of him, that is the 26K of Cale Drake, as we're underway with his heat race.
And Drake already working his way through to get up to, I believe, the 2nd spot, as we have the 32 making his way to the front as well. That's Brian Lunsford out of Marshall. We got one in the fence, head first. And man, Clinton, you know, once we get one,
you get a
the
bunch.
Dominoes start to fall.
Yeah, we see a little bit of fuel leaking out the 17 there.
Yeah, that's Jacob Johnson out of Albuquerque, New Mexico. Right front, sitting up on top of the wall.
I hate to see that. Jacob and I spent all last week doing some powder coating together for Corey Eliason, who's down in Australia, I believe. New Zealand, Australia, one of those places.
Sitting third in points down there already.
Yeah, picked up a big win last night. Corey did, so hopefully nothing too major here for Jacob. I know he works hard to prepare this car, living out in Indy now, working for Bernie Stubgen at Indy Race Parts some, and a little powder coating on the side to hustle. And so hopefully nothing too major. Get her back out here and check in on the other classes. Brian's down there. So hopefully the damage not too bad. Brian, we're going to get a look at this replay real quick, and then we'll see what you got for us.
Straight into the wall, although mitigated the damage
yeah,
a
seems
little
soft.
bit. He managed to get off the gas and slow the car down a bit.
It's one of those cases where he might have been better just to stab the gas again once he got pointed at the wall, try to get the thing rotated. It's super hard to do when you're driving straight out a concrete wall, but
that's not your initial instinct, is to mash the throttle.
Okay, trackside we go to Brian Ward for an update.
Yeah, your driver stood up in the seat and was going to get out. They'd originally called for the hook, and then they looked over it and they said no, gave the signal for the push, and he got back in. He's trying to get these belts cinched back up to keep on rolling. He's in there feverishly working to try and get them all cinched in, but now they're getting the signal. They might just push him to the work area.
Car's got a little more toe in the right front than
Yeah,
you would think.
I wonder if it rolled the right front axle back just a little bit. Something we talked about in the past, drivers getting out and then getting back in. I kind of don't like that very much. I know a lot of major sanctioning bodies have a rule: if you unbuckle, get out. It's that's it. And we've seen it here before. I know we pointed out a couple of times where somebody doesn't get a belt tied or get their helmet tightened up. So he's stopping in the work area.
Work, there is no such thing as work area time here at the Tulsa Shootout. In fact,
Yeah.
the lights are out around the track, so we're going back to action right away. Race leader out in front of this is Brenham Crouch. Crouch in the 87 off the corner. Bring us back to green. Tacked in behind him. That's 26 of Cale Drake. He's one of the Oklahoma-based drivers.
And Cale Drake looking really good here early on in this heat race. Brendan's going to have to stay pretty perfect here if he wants to hold him back. Cale led actually on the initial start. And we had that first yellow as Jace Park making his way up through the field.
Jace Park had a good run last night in the Outlaw Wing, again driving the CB Industries 89 for Chad Bode. A big opportunity for the young racer as he continues to try to work his way. Made some really good passes last night. Let's see what he can do here on the Brown machine for fourth.
But guys, thanks to some of this attrition that's happened, Park started this race in 10th. He's already up to 5th. Austin Wood, who's right behind him, started 9th, and he was up to 6th. Both of them were climbing before that last wreck happened, so we'll keep our eyes peeled. They had a little bit of time left to continue to improve their spot. A look at the front of the field. Brenham Crouch leads Drake to Brian Lunsford, the veteran, rolling around to the 3rd spot in the 32 car. Brown 4, Park 5, Wood 6, 28S is Daniel Smith. He's in the 7th position.
Drake doing a really nice job on the bottom. Started to catch Crouch a little bit in 3 and 4, but then goes top shelf in 1 and 2, loses a little bit of time. Drake, a 3-time now 600 national winner this year as the checkered flag is out. Brenham Crouch, the Power I Midget national champion, takes home heat race number 3 over Cale Drake, Brian Lunsford, Carson Brown, and Jace Park. So still a good points run for Park. As Caleb mentioned, starting deep in this one.
Take a look at the chart that's available, and the chart is again the same passing points chart that was used by the ASCS National Series for year 10 to 5 is worth 97 points, so just a little less than if you had won the heat race off the pole, but that's more than enough to get him into a qualifier and give him a shot to make it through a qualifier and get in the A main event based on points. Take a look, Hayden Wise in the pole of our next heat race. Outside of Hayden is Dwight Green in the 70. Then Cole Bodine and Sean Wicker making up row number 2. Caden Holman, Daniel Robinson in row number 3. Kaylee Bryson and Dylan Mendito in row number 4. Colin White and Glenn James Brady in the 5th row in a sneaky good heat race. Kaylee Bryson's going to draw a lot of the headlines, but there is a lot of race winners stacked in and through this field as Robinson playing Smokey the Bandit on the outside of row number 3.
A little smoke screen for those behind him.
No mosquitoes in the building.
No.
Oh, they're sending them up the ramp. Champ.
Yeah.
It's like, it's rolling, it's good, but...
Maybe he was hoping to do a Cheech and Chong impression and go puff, puff, pass.
I like that.
That might be the funniest thing you've ever said.
9:49 in the morning, Caleb
Oh,
already
gosh.
on it. Oh,
It's
boy.
getting worse.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Shut her
It's probably
down.
best for his motor just to stop.
Yeah, and that's what they're trying to tell him to do.
I'm catching a lot of hate on Twitter right now about the flips comment.
Way to go.
I figured it was going to happen.
Chase Gabriel wants to know what on the over-under today, 20. He said he's going over. I think I'd hammer the over on that
Were we
one.
at 3 through 3?
We're 3 through 4.
3 through 4, yeah.
Yeah, well, traditionally we're in the 80 range, if I remember, on this show.
Yeah, aren't we 4 flips in, I believe?
You
I
know,
thought you were keeping unofficial stats over here.
Yeah.
All right, Dan, the
we're at
producer
4.
man's got 4. So
Okay, so we're at 4.
the K1
Correction.
Race Gear official flip count is at 4. Down to 9 cars here for this heat race, our 5th of the morning. And you're watching the Outlaw non-wing division. Outlaw division, so they've got built, worked on motors. They've got cockpit adjustments in these cars. Hayden Wise, the daughter of Josh Wise, leads him into turn number 1. Trying to roll through the bottom, but on the outside of Hayden. Dwight Green making things
Kaylee
hard.
Bryson put it 3 wide, nearly got spun around. She'll lose a couple spots. They're still banging wheels back here. That's the 6 of Colin White from the last row, and now we're stacked up. We got 1 stop, and that's Brady, and 1 upside down, number 5 on the K1 flip count. Good Lord.
Perdido is the driver of that car. Or sorry, Mendito, my bad.
Yeah.
So Mendito started in the 8th position. Dylan Mendito from Brooklyn, Connecticut. And we'll go up top for our Pit Stop USA interview in Connor Wade.
Brenham Crouch got it done in Non-Lead Outlaw Heat Race number 4. And Brenham told me earlier up in the staging lane that yesterday you guys had some kinks to work out with the car. Do you feel like you guys have this worked out based off of that heat race?
Yeah, we're rolling really good, and all our problems seem to be fixed for at least the time being. So, you know, we're trying to carry the speed into the wing heat later on today, and, you know, just the rest of the week really try to gain some momentum.
4 races in, still early in the day, but at this point, what can you tell us about the racetrack right now? What are the drivers in this heat race seeing right now?
You know, it's really just hooked up around the bottom. You know, it's kind of starting to get rough into 3, and, you know, just as long as you hit your marks and you got good equipment, there's, you know, hold your line. There's no reason anybody should pass you.
Brenham Crouch picks up a non-lead heat race win, now sets his sights on his 8th class heat race later on in the day.
Well, Mendito turned back over and will join up at the back of the field.
Guys on the Twitterverse, Danny Dietrich's pretty invested in what's going on right now. He thinks he wants to come out here and join the Flow broadcast team. And
Let's go.
I don't know that the world can handle that.
No, I'm in.
Where's the censor button?
I told him if he shows up to Chili Bowl, we'll get him in the booth. But he said maybe next year.
He is one of the best follows on Twitter because he is just so unfiltered.
Yes.
Yeah. I had a lot of fun getting to race out in PA with Danny and talk with him and mostly talk a lot of crap, which wasn't fair because he beat us every race, I think.
Yeah, as good of a crap talker as he is, he's a heck of a race car driver, too.
Dwight Green back to under the green flag. Hayden Wise is going to put the nose underneath Green, and she'll get the jump and the spot. So move Hayden Wise back to the front. Your pole sitter, Holm, gets a shot in the shorts off of turn 4. 3 wide. Where's Kaylee Bryson at? She's in the middle of it.
Every time she tries to make a move to the outside, someone squirts up in her lane, and it doesn't work out for her. Sitting 5th right now, but I think has the car speed to move up a few more spots.
Cole Bodine there, former shootout A-main starter and Golden Driller winner from Indiana, trying to get one more up through the field. He's got Kaylee Bryson right behind, so that's your battle there for 4th.
This is going to be a fascinating battle. Bodine knows where he needs to have the race car, and Kaylee knows what she's got to do to get around him.
Ooh.
It might just be a battle of wills, although a back corner for Kaylee is going to shuffle her back another spot, and the caution flag's out.
Yeah. And I think she's going to end up losing that spot, but Kaylee pretty aggressive here early on. It just hasn't seemed to work out for her.
Dwight Green, who started outside front row, briefly had the lead, now finds himself faced the wrong direction, turn 3. Yeah, that'll be a really good battle here now with a reset with 3 laps to go. See what Kaylee can do. Once again, roll it off from the 7th spot.
Colin White showed in the 2nd position, and White started inside row number 5. That's 9-2 here in this heat race.
Yeah, kind of snuck up there. We were in 3 wide scenarios, just was able to pin the bottom and pick off several at a time. So really good driving there for Colin White, Scranton, Pennsylvania native.
One of the fleet of hypers that came down from Pennsylvania here in our hyper racing broadcast today, and with a chance to be your high point scorer with a bullet. One more spot, that'd be worth 140 points. Hayden Wise going to try to hold him off. Green flag back out. Wise, White, Holm, Bodine, and now Brady in the 5th spot as we get back to action. 2 to go for Wise, and the battle up front's good.
White's there, has a little bit better drive off the corner, although missed the bottom. As Cole Bodine up and over the berm, keeps his foot in it. Gonna bring Brady there. Again, that's for 4th. White flag is out for your leader, Wise. Has all sorts of company from White and Holm now. Kaylee Bryson able to take the 5th spot, but off of 3 and 4. How about Huntersville, North Carolina's Hayden Wise picking up a heat race win?
9-2 for White is worth 128 markers. So your new points leader is Colin White after Wise pockets 100 for the heat race win and an entertaining 5th heat race of the morning here on FloRacing. Our 6th heat race is coming down the ramp. Aiden Gatewood on the pole in the 37. Brandon Boggs in the 12 will start up on the top because the top's up here, but Trey Gropp on the inside in the 54. Next to him, Bailey Spitulski in the 29. Sean Deskins in the 20. Jace McIntosh in the 08. Jack Kasich, the 112. Mason Doherty, the 98. Lane Warner, the 122. And Joey Amantia in 88J, also out of Pennsylvania. 10 cars, again, 8 more laps around the Expo Raceway.
Caution light's already off, so starting to roll this one pretty quickly. Keep an eye on Sean Deskins rolling off from that 5th spot. Has a really fast race car. Watched him in practice as we're under the green flag for heat race number 30.
Brandon Boggs using the right rear, going to the low side and making the move up into the front of the very first lap. Oh boy, up, over, and down. Tack another onto the flip count and bet the over, boys. I'm just saying.
Yep.
Life's, to quote Barstool, life's too short to bet the under, right?
You got to hammer the over.
Bailey Spitulski, the one up and over. Several cars collected, including 54 of Trey Gropp.
Ooh, that's the 20 of Sean Deskins back there.
And then one kind of high-sided over the berm. Looks like
It's
122, yeah. Lane Warner.
Turn 3 was an absolute mess getting into that turn. Nobody had a lane picked. Half of them were sideways. But that's what we see here in non-wing racing, especially with the hooked up track, is we're going to go live to the crash scene. And Brian.
Yeah, guys, the left front off the wheel here on your 29P. Everyone else seems like they're in good shape. Well, now Deskin's climbing out of that one. I didn't see anything on the right side, but they're calling for the hook on it. See if we can find out on the back end. And he's checking the left front of that one. I do not see anything major here, but out of the 20 cars, we're down 2.
Take a look at the Eibach Springs instant replay as into the corner and problems all over the place. Down for Spitulski and to the flip count we add.
Just tons of contact entering the corner. Yeah. Nobody wanted to give up anything.
So aggressive.
Fortunately, a couple drivers now off on the hook as Spitulski will take the ride back.
Guys, do you think it would be like this if I didn't say anything?
All right, Brian's got Sean Deskins.
Sean, you climbed out of that one. I didn't see any major damage on the car. What'd you see in the cockpit?
It broke the steering.
Down there in the knuckle, you think you're just spinning that wheel, just free spin there on the steering wheel?
Yeah, it's free spinning. Broke the tie bolt of the steering unit.
All righty, we're going to let you get that car back to the pit area as they're about ready to go green again, clearing the racetrack. That's the last car to clear off, and we'll get back to racing action.
So a couple early retirees on this heat race. Sean Deskins, Bailey Spitulski. We'll get a reset lineup for you. Keep in mind, Joey Amantia started dead last. Heat race winner last night, made his first shootout A-main last year. Was pretty emotional, if I recall. Talked to him at the top of the ramp, trying to put another one into a good qualifier position from the back.
What have you told us for years, Clinton? They'll give you more spots than you can take.
Yep, absolutely. Especially, you can earn 1 or 2 in the first lap, then you kind of got to settle in. I'm gonna go the other way now and just be like, hopefully these guys just run some laps here. And we've had enough crashes. It's fine.
Has Twitter lit you up enough?
Yeah, enough. Okay. We got the people going. That's what they wanted.
It's part of the fun of this broadcast. We want the people involved.
That's right.
We're a broadcast of the people.
Mason Hannigan reached out on Twitter, so he's taking the over on 60 for the week. So I'm like, that's probably a safe bet.
I'd take the over on 75 at this point, I think.
Yeah.
We're putting up record numbers today.
All right, caution lights are out. We will try this one again. Aiden Gatewood, Brandon Boggs, your front row. And more contact here as that looks like was the 08 of Jace McIntosh. Wheeled his way through. taking over that second position. And, oh, we got contact, and that's a Mantia. Tommy Tipover in turns 3 and 4.
Race gods giveth, race gods taketh away.
Jace McIntosh not playing around this morning.
Not at all. He ate his Wheaties this morning.
Yes.
And now some smoke from the header. It looks like maybe cracked. Brian Ward is down there. Brian, we'll get your mic popped up. What can you tell us on that machine?
Yeah, there's just oil spilling out. He's got a little hose with a filter coming off the top of the valve cover, and the way he was tipped over, all the oil was coming through that hose, and it's just pouring right out of the filter and dripping right down onto the header here, and that's what all the smoke is, just burning that oil off as it drips down on there. Nothing major here, just the way that the car was laying, it kind of filled up in that overflow tube there and spilling right over on the header.
Appreciate it. And yeah, that'll end his run through the heat race here at the Outlaw Non-Wing division. Again, we mentioned Joey picking up a heat race win last night.
Kind of an up and down weekend so far for him. Upside down in hot laps. One of 3 guys that did flip in hot laps. Heat race winner last night and called himself the non-wing specialist.
Yeah.
I wonder if he maybe jinxed himself there.
A lot of work to be done on that machine for sure. Battle of attrition here in this one. As Jace McIntosh, I believe, will take the point here. As while we're still under the caution flag, let's go upstairs. Welcome back, Earl Hoon. Earl, what you got for us?
Well, good morning to you guys as well. And how about this? I got Hayden Wise here with me. First ever year in the micro and her first ever attempt in making the Tulsa Shootout. And Hayden, you were able to get the job done in your heat race. Congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm really stoked that I got it done. First year at the Tulsa, I'm kind of shaking because I'm so nervous on the job that I did when I got done here. But yeah, just nerve-wracking, crazy that I got to win the heat race at a Tulsa Shootout. It's just crazy to think that I could do that.
You got a busy shootout here this week. You just told me that you're also competing in 4 more divisions here. And how much stress does this just take off your shoulders right now with this win?
It takes off a lot, knowing that I have the car and my mindset to do the stuff that I just did in that heat race. And the track's really good right now, so I feel like I'll be able to get it done in 1 more class.
Hayden Wise, guys, looking good here so far in the Tulsa Shootout.
Thank you so much. Ooh, a little flat left rear, and that's Brandon Boggs, and he's pointing at somebody or something as he'll take that car through the infield, come to a sliding stop at the direction of the official. Interesting, but yeah, congratulations to Hayden. That just shows you what a win at the shootout, no matter what, means. The young lady, congratulations, as we're back under the green flag in this heat race, and there goes Jace McIntosh.
We started with 10, we're down to 6 already.
Battle of attrition in this one for sure. 98 is making his way through. That's Mason Daughtry. Mason started deep in this one, so a couple guys making their way through the field.
Look out. Close to another shot in the shorts coming through the corner there. Everybody manages to drive away. Sparks coming out from underneath the Warder car as he jumps onto the tie brake. Nice move to the high side here from Grob. Grob working all over Kasik's 112 and looking to work his way into third. Starts the corner off high, cuts it low, bangs wheels to make his way through. And into third goes Groff. Kasik wasn't having much of it. Door opens for Warner to drive up and around. Somehow we stayed clean and green there. I don't know how.
Yeah, that was almost so bad twice. Coming off turn 4 and getting into turn 1.
Coming to the white flag, your battle for the lead starting to heat up. It looks like Daugherty was able to get there, and he is very close, but can't quite get the run off the corner. As through 3 and 4 for the final time. Jace Mack, 6th spot, he'll take home this heat race in the Outlaw Non-Wing over Daugherty. Trey Gropp, Lane Warner, and Kasik round out the top 5.
It's 125 for Jace McIntosh. That'd be your second highest point score so far.
And we got a number 1 signal from Jack Kasik to, I believe that was Grob. So
easy, boys.
We just hit past 10 o'clock here local time, and tempers already a little heated. As you take a look at the Evo fuel injection ramp cam, a busy place here today with 117 total races on tap for you throughout the course of the day. Next heat race, getting ready to roll out on the racetrack, Caleb.
Kyron Casillas, the 9K, is on the pole. Mike Snelling next to him in 49. Robert Lee in the 60. Blake Hahn going outside row number 2 in the 52. Jimmy Wells, the 951. Brent Woods in the 83. Will Scribner from the 3. Cole Esgar in the 77. Connor Gross in the 14. And Trey Marcham in the 32. Hahn and Marcham in the same heat race, non-wing style. Could be an adventure, and especially both of them on the outside row on this racetrack. Racetrack that's led to some physical racing early on in the day. And both drivers need to come forward and put some points in their pocket. As Casillas will lead him down. Hanging out outside of him is Snelling. We're underway, and there is Hahn making the aggressive move up and around the outside early in this one. He'll work his way into second and set his sights in the lead as we watch the field fan out in the back of the pack. That's Marcham in the black and blue 32.
Marcham's still in the back. He's
sorry,
in last. He hasn't made a move yet. Finally gets by one car here.
Oh, we got contact in turn 3 and 4.
Casillas is one of those 2 cars. I think the 951 of Wells might be the 3rd place car that's mixed up in that. Get a look at the tail tank as soon as they get him unhooked. And the tail tank has no numbers, which is a big help. Well, they are pretty hardcore about your numbering gear on these cars. And it's because scoring is so hard amongst all the cars in the division. Clearly, tank numbers not required. It'll be on the nose of the race car. But it would have been helpful for the announcers in that instance.
Oh,
no, don't do it.
Those things don't have a rear backup camera.
Brian's on the scene. Brian, what's going on there in the corner?
Well, you were correct. It is the 951 here. Has the little number board on the right side sail panel there. But Casillas has the gloves off. He's going to be heading straight to the work area. He's done in the 9K.
Little Lightning McQueen action.
I was about to say, Lightning got...
Ka-chow.
Thank you. I was like, what does he say? Ka-chow.
Kerchoo.
There you go.
You've got a young nephew. You've probably only seen that movie 75 times.
I think I watched it 3 times this weekend while we were home for the holidays. The whole Cars Marathon was on. And I got more mad when someone wanted to change it than he did.
So Jimmy Wells will tag up at the back of the field. Blake Hahn's your leader. Should be Scribner piled in behind him, the 3rd place car, the 83 of Woods. That was the car I was trying to identify coming up in the back of the pack. Although they're going to shuffle him around with 14 of Gross. So Gross 3rd, Woods 4.
But that just showed you on that start the veteran racer in Blake Hahn who's done this time and time again, knowing exactly how to go, where to go, and be aggressive, because he could have easily been involved in some of that had he not taken that move to the outside. So it just shows you kind of the experience that one has here at the shootout. As you take a look, there we are, the FloRacing Brian Kopinski announcer's booth. Nice wave. You can see the red shirt for Clint Boyles over here sticking out. Our home away from home for 2 weeks in December and January. Certainly we miss Brian Kopinski, a longtime member of this broadcast, both the Shootout and the Chili Bowl that you heard on Racing Boys. Lost him a couple years ago. Certainly every time we walk in this booth, I think about Brian.
His favorite time was when the lights go out and the field forms up. As we are ready to get back to action, green flag. Blake Hahn's going to just try to run away and hide as the battle for second gets a lot better. Gross moving up the field quite nicely. He's driving into second. There's Woods biking the left front tire. He's looking for 3rd. Good job so far of Scribner trying to keep it off him, but then Woods trying to back it up around the outside in turn number 2. And at the line, he will secure 3rd place.
Yeah, as long as Woods keeps his momentum up, he was able to really get that top to work. There's Trey Marcham still in that blue tail tank 32. Hasn't quite made the run that we thought he could from the back. Still stuck behind a couple cars, including that 77E of Cole Esgar.
Esgar has done a ton of work on that car, a lot of fresh components on it, as he kept Marcham off him, and he's put a lot of pressure on Lee up ahead of him, trying to work into 5th. Asgar starts high, dives low. Lee now up on the back of Scribner. Asgar trying to force his way down low, and Lightning McQueen got a little aggressive coming through the turn. Caution flag on the racetrack.
There's your second Ka-chow on the offensive side this time.
Well, when it comes to the shootout, better to give than receive. Asgar will point the car the right direction, get back going. Cole's dad, Brandon, the wrench and owner on those cars, works very hard for him and his sister, who come down to the shootout every year, Colorado-based team. So we'll take a look back at the front of the field, and once again, your race leader without incident, Blake Hahn, doing the exact thing you want to do, just get away.
Yeah.
And don't let anybody get close to you so there can be no incident.
Lights are out. 951 to the tail. So second time we've seen the black flag. It's not even the black flag.
It's
I don't
just
think.
to the back.
Yeah.
Saw it last night in the incident that preceded our first fight of the week. Hahn leads him back down. Gross in second. Woods in third. Green white checkered restart should be coming.
Woods this time goes to the bottom. I was curious if he tried to rip the top around Connor Gross, but through 3 and 4, white flag is out. There's Marcham trying to make something here at the end, trying to go after Scribner here for the 4th spot. If Marcham can get it, he at least redeems something. But through 3 and 4, it's all Blake Hahn who wins that heat race. And coming home second, Connor Gross, Brent Woods third, Wood Scribner fourth, and Trey Marcham the top 5. But in familiar territory, another heat race win for Blake Hahn.
Yeah, that was a big restart there for Marcham, because I think he was 8th restarting that last restart. So salvaged a little bit of something there.
10-5 is worth 97 points. That's really not a bad scoring run for him, as we'll check in with Earl Hoon Jr.
Thank you, guys. Jace McIntosh, starting outside of row number 3, was able to pick up the win. And you and I were just talking, this track is still pretty souped up, one lane out there.
Yeah, it's real narrow. You get high and you get into the marbles. So I just tried to make sure I watched out for all the guys getting squirrely on the start, and that's what happened. I ended up getting the lead pretty quick, and we were gone from there.
Back to you guys.
Thank you, Earl. Heat race number 32 out on the racetrack. Number 8 of the day, Cameron LaRose out of Phoenix, Arizona, your pole sitter. Jackson Kunkel out of Sioux City, Iowa, shares the front row. Caden Mitchell and Garth Kasner, row number 2. Inside row 3, that's Corey Green out of Oklahoma, and Dustin Bottoms out of Alvin, Texas. Row 4, Tegan Moles and Drake Edwards, a good row there. And rounding out the 10-car field, Ryan Mueller and Frank Flood, the legend, starting at the tail of heat race number 32, going for another driller this year. I think if he wins this year, it'd be number 5. We'll see what he can do in today's heat race in that bright yellow machine, as we're already underway, and a really good jump from your pole sitter, Cameron LaRose. Kasner in that green and yellow CS9, a longtime veteran here in the shootout, trying to make something. There's Frank Flood up and over the berm. He's going to go middle. And if any of these guys in this heat race knows it's Frank Flood, that you got to go.
It's going to be interesting watching what line Flood chooses to pick his way up and through this field, as a lot of drivers trying to make a name for themselves. Flood knows the value of keeping the race car in one piece and taking what you can get, as we got a car around at the back of the pack. That's the 480 of Corey Green from Oklahoma. Face him around the right way, and we'll get this heat race restarted.
Guys, when you get a second, let's take a look at the front of Frank Flood's car. If you notice, it's going to look different than every single other car inside this building. It doesn't have any shocks on the outside of the frameworks there.
Inside the frame rail mount?
Inside the frame rail in like an X formation.
Really?
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So I know of one other car that does that, and it's actually in the sprint car world. It's J.J. Hughes up in Indiana, who moves the shock mounts to the inside of the car. I haven't seen the angulature of it, but interesting idea. Do you know why he's doing that?
Other than him just wanting to be a little bit different and try something, I don't. I spoke with him just for about 5 minutes about it at Sweet Springs throughout the summer at a race I was at. There you get a good look at it. It's like a cantilever system inside there.
Yeah, there you go.
No shocks on that thing that's showing. So he said working with a ton of different spring rates and trying to figure out what worked best. And when I was at Sweet Springs, he absolutely kicked their butt with it. He said he finally kind of felt like he got a handle on it and could figure out what to do on certain tracks. So he's made a few moves here, needs to make a few more, but cool to see some guys trying to be innovative, and Frank obviously super smart, able to kind of get a grasp on that throughout the summer.
I mean, for a guy who's got 618 career A-main wins in a micro, you figure he knows a thing or two, and if anybody's going to innovate, he's going to be one of them.
Cameron LaRose leading him back to green. One lap, I believe, or two have been complete as we'll get back under the green flag.
Frank's got a nice line on the inside here. He might be able to pick up a couple of cars in this corner depending on how the exit of the turn goes. Continuing to try to pick his way up the field. In sixth, now in fifth as he dispatches of Kunkel. And setting his eyes on Edwards, who's chasing Kasner for third. Flood in the yellow with black tail tank number 81X in the fifth position as you take a look at your leader, Cameron LaRose. LaRose in no danger at the moment. There's Flood trying to get some momentum up and make the run on Edwards.
Yeah, he's got kind of the middle entry and able to dime it off the corner, this time underneath Edwards. Slices his way through, now to the outside. He'll try to, Frank Flood on the outside wall, loses that spot, gathers it back up, but the white flag is out and he loses that position to Drake Edwards. He'll have one more opportunity to get after it.
It's still a 10-5 run for Flood, still worth 97 points. See if he can get any bonus numbers here at the end. LaRose wins, Mitchell 2, Kasner, Edwards, and Flood finishes out the top 5. So LaRose wins from the pole, leads every lap. The Arizona-based racer is our first sheet of the day, goes in the books. We go up top to Earl.
Thank you, guys. And I got a driver batting 1,000 here so far this week, and I believe this is our first driver to win all of his heat races so far. Blake Hahn, man, what a shootout so far for you.
It's been really good. I got to give a shout out to 10J. They definitely have a really fast race car prepared for us, and I think if you ask anybody in our camp, we have race cars to contend for the driller come Saturday. So if we just do our job and get to the front, I think everything will play out come Saturday. But the car was really good every time I touch the track, so it makes it fun. We really look forward to Saturday.
Blake Hahn feeling good here, guys.
Well, Earl with Blake Hahn, and so far so good for Blake in pursuit of another golden driller.
It's almost business as usual for him, Calm, cool, collected.
One of the drivers with the most laps around Expo Raceway, that's for sure. As we look at our next heat race, this is our 9th heat race of the morning. It's Aiden Hare sitting on the pole in car number 4A. Colton Aggie going to be next to him in car number 8. Row number 2, young driver, keep your eyes peeled on him. He is going to do some good things, I predict, in the future. That is Brody Graham, both of the Graham kids. Very, very quick. Scout Spragan's next to him in the 10. Then Dakota Gray in the 81. Jake Nail in the 14. Joe Bob Lee, the 15J. Tanner Thorson in the 29, going non-wing. Richie Harvey, the 59. And Chase McDermott in the 26, as they will go and get ready for the drop of the green.
Yeah, we saw Tanner, defending Chili Bowl champ, run his wing car yesterday. Solid effort. A little bit better starting spot here this morning as we're under the green flag here in heat race number 9 of the Outlaw non-wing.
Field working their way forward. That's Nail in the black and red with white number 14 car. As you watch Thorson dive to the inside on Spragan's car, upside down. 2 of them going to get involved in the flip here as yellow lights turn on around the racetrack.
Joe Bob Lee thought he almost got around it, and then they hooked front bumpers mid-flip, and it launched him in the air. That was pretty wild.
And should be Dakota Gay, the other car that was upside down in the 81. There's your official K1 race gear flip count, the bottom left corner of the screen. We are now at 9 after starting the day at 0.
Brian Ward is on the accident scene. Some smoke coming out of the Joe Bob Lee machine. What can you tell us from down there?
Yeah, I think it's just more fluids burning off the header on this one. Joe Bob Lee, one of 2 drivers out of Cache, Oklahoma, along with Scout Spraggins in that pink number 10. Joe Bob in Michael Brown's Lawton Auto Parts 15. It's one of the new one-way performance. Joe Bob is actually a sprint